today's use case is mostly oriented around the HR process automation, which is one of the neglected area, I would say, and one of the most important area as well. Why? Because when you try to hire someone, let's say you open one position into your organization or in any small, medium, large scale business, a good hiring can add maybe $1 million to your pipeline, to your overall organization's value, versus a bad hiring can extract that value or reduce that value, right? And even push your organization, push your team behind a couple of years as well. Now, what if we can automate until this point, and out of, let's say, 500 resumes, you get a filtered resume of, let's say, 50 people or 25 people who are way much focused, and HR has to supposed to talk only those 25 people after these many rounds. And along with this, once we do this, the whole these 25 people can go HR round 2 and to the business rounds. So a quality hiring can be done as compared to HR is just looking for 10, 20, 50 people who applied first, and then they forget everyone else, or they are not getting enough time to run through all of them. So prevention of any sort of wrong hiring, as well as a good chance to hire a right candidate or suitable candidate. And that's what this whole filtering is about. Now, what I did is it's a kind of, how would I say, a framework of this entire HR onboarding system or HR automation system. You could always change the tools. So, for example, let's say technical assessment can be done via form, via proper proctoring system, which can prevent other person to do cheatings or maybe record their screen, track their movements and all. So all depend upon what tool you're using. In this case, we are going to use some basic tool like even a Google form or maybe an written form itself to pick values, or let's say to pick to allow people to answer the questions which are asked into technical round. And in case of voice interview, we are going to use one of the voice AI that is called VAPI or retail. So we'll go with VAPI. I got an instant account there. So we'll see how voice interviews can be set up and how they can be either scheduled or they can go instantly. Okay, so let's get started with our fundamental preparedness. Now, what I can do is, see, we'll need some sort of a database. For example, let's say when someone applies, where my job data or those applications will go. It can be Airtable, it can be Monday.com, it can be any ATS, it's called application tracking system. So ATS can be there, or I could also create a basic Google Sheet, right? So I'll go with, for now, with a Google Sheet because that's quite handy and everyone have access to it. So I'll go here and let's try to create one new Google Sheet right from scratch. Here we are. Now, when someone is going to apply, what all information, what all things I want to track over here. So essentially, first of all, I would like to track a candidate name, and this is part of infrastructure buildup. See, whenever you do automation, you always need infra behind it, right? Otherwise, automation cannot done in air. The whole job is to make things automated, to integrate systems, and to control the data flow. So now, in this case, we have to build our basic system. The first database, or I'll say ATS automation project, right? Application tracking system automation project. Here I can say the candidate name is supposed to go here. Then we have email. Then further down, we can have that person's phone number as well. So HR can call them, or maybe they have a centralized database. Then we may have a question about highest qualification. Then I could have, let's say, what job they are doing at this point. So what is their current role designation? It can be anything. Now, what position they applied for? Generally, these are common fields for any ATS. That's why I'm picking up quickly. So a position, what they applied for, and when they apply, what is their like how their resume look like. So for example, if someone is submitting a resume on any of my landing pages or my job application page, I want to store that resume somewhere. So if my HR comes here, they'll be able to quickly click here and access that resume of this particular person altogether, right? So I'll say resume link or resume file link, something like this. Now, this is the basic part where I can collect anyone's data, any candidate data. I can convert to table, and this looks pretty decent. Now, for example, if I go here on LinkedIn, and let me try to show you, let's say, where is jobs? Okay, here are the jobs. What most companies does, if I go and why it's not showing me any jobs. Okay, there are a couple of jobs which are available here. Founder, associate, this, that. My whole idea is I just want to show you how the whole job process or job application process works. So either there will be an easy apply button where I can fill in this form and I can simply apply to this job within LinkedIn. It can fetch all my data from LinkedIn itself. Or in some other cases where easy apply is not there, generally companies ask me to submit my resume on their website. So I have to go there, fill a form. I think mostly I'm getting all of these easy apply only. Okay, let's say it's on-site is a different thing. Upload resume. There's a technical job. So, sorry, top choice job, so on. And here it says upload resume, or I can take your profile over here itself and I can simply submit the application. It's a basic form where they're tracking my name, couple of other things from LinkedIn profile, email, phone number, country, and a few basic other stuff. So essentially, either if it is not on LinkedIn, it's on somewhere else, you should have a form on your website through which people can come and they can apply it. So essentially, to collect all these information, we'll have to have one form over there. We should have created some job application form. Now, this job application form can be created inside Anyten. You know already, right? Yesterday we saw multiple triggers. One of the trigger is called on form submission. So I can design my own form. So let's click on create a workflow and let's get into building up our job form. So here we have on form submission, and I can say this form title is going to be job application form. We fill this form to apply jobs with gross tax, something like this. Then I could have added multiple elements to this form. So elements can be, first of all, my name, the person's name, their phone number. Further down, all of these are required fields, so they have to fill it. Email should have email as a field with some validations. Then further down, I can have what is your highest qualification. It's again a text. Then I would have which position you're applying for. So position applied for. And in this case, I could have either single choice or multiple choice. So I can ask the other person, are they applying for I say as a company, I would have, let's say, multiple jobs open with me as a marketing manager, project manager, maybe a automation engineer, and so on. So in this case, we'll go with a drop-down field. We'll say, okay, drop-down field here, we can put choices. So I'll say it's a marketing manager. This could have been what I get, project manager, and further down, automation engineer, right? So that's where I could have all of these things alongside my job preferences, right? And it's a required field. People have to submit this. Now, along with this, I could ask them to upload their resume. So over here, I'll say add another element, and this should be upload resume, right? And this is supposed to be a file field. So over here, I can say upload a file, and within this, either multiple or single, obviously single file, and supposed to be into .pdf format, right? And it's a required field. So that's where I build up, or let's say I build up the entire form sequences over here. Now, apart from this, I could go over here and say, I don't want to append anything attribution. In this case, on the button label, instead of submit, it will be say apply, and then form path. I could define my own path, which can be job application form. So instead of having some random stuff, it'll have a proper job application form URL. See, at the top, now it changed to job application form as a URL itself, right? Over here. So this is job application form is the end of this. Now, obviously, since it was a custom URL, custom domain, says Anyten test, it could have been only jobs.oneautomation.us form, job application form, something like this, right? So that's where, and obviously we can customize more and more things. So form response, ignore boards, as well as any sort of custom styling, all of these things can be put in there. I'm building a Anyten form, help me to customize CSS. It's a job application form. So give it a little professional good color and ensure all the buttons and backgrounds are visible. Here is the current form sample CSS. So I'll go. Just wanted to show you how to customize this styling part. But essentially, if we go here, let's click on execute step. The current form look like this. It says job application form, and all of these fields are appearing over here: name, phone number, email, highest qualification, and the choice of project manager, product manager, and so on, and upload resume over here. Now let's try to fill in. By the time our CSS get ready, I'll say Manish M, and I'll upload a resume. It can be any PDF for now. It's fine. And let's apply. See here. Now, good thing within Anyten, someone who doesn't know, yesterday I shown you, there are multiple outputs or multiple way to present this output inside Anyten. The one is, first of all, schema, like how we see values inside make.com. Similarly, you get to see the mappable tags or key value pair over here, right? Second is it can also present data into table kind of a structure. So if you're getting multiple data lines from your let's say API call response, you can always have this whole table structure like this. Third is a JSON structure in case you want to inspect something, how we used to do download output or download input inside make.com, let's say module history. Same way you can get here, and you can get to see JSON, raw JSON over here directly. And finally, there is something called binary. Binaries, is there any file attached or associated with this particular data set? The answer is yes, and that's why there is a binary data is also appearing. One item is there. And in case if you want to see files, In Make, you can't download, you can preview it. But in case of Anatan, you can always click on here and files can be downloaded in their original uh, method or whatever in the original format instead of that whole binary data. So you can just click on this and you can look out this entire document, right? So these are a couple of good flexibilities given on Anatan. Okay, by this time we got our custom styling ready. Let's go and try this. If it doesn't work, we'll go back to what we have over here. Let me copy this as well. Done. And I'm picking now styling from this particular one to here. All good. Let's try and execute. I think it got a little bit change with some hover effect. So now hover is giving you a blue kind of a thing. There is a blue font and there is a blue button. Nothing else got changed. If you could say change the background or maybe color combination of this font size, then this would have done a better job. But at least we have some changes done over here. So essentially our first level data came out from our form submission, and I'll say stop listening. Now this is job application submitted, right? First step where we have data. Now, one good thing with Anatan is, I'll tell you, you can pin this data or let me try and go back to execution. See, in case of make.com, we have to rerun modules multiple times. Let's say if you have to execute this whole automation workflow in Make, you would have to submit it maybe 5 times, 10 times, whatever number of times you wanted to run through this test case. But in case of Anatan, you double click on this particular log, and you get to see this data, which can be at any module, not about just first module, but subsequent, any other modules can also be there. If I click on this, I get to see all the data available over here, right? Now, I could simply say copy to editor. Copy to editor means I can take this history log data into my actual automation sequence, and then I can rerun it whatever number of times I want. So I don't have to extract any JSON, any sort of JSON parser has to be applied. All those things are not any constraint over here in case of Make, in case of, sorry, Annotate. Now over here, I'll click on copy to clipboard and sorry, it was a test run, then it's not added over here. What I'll do, let me try with the production URL, and this production URL is supposed to run this entire thing. I'll say turn on this automation workflow activated. I don't want to handle any errors for now. All good. Let's go here and let's try it one more time. So here from MCA, here I go, marketing manager, choose a file. File can be anything, and at the bottom apply for this job, and see this workflow would have triggered over here. See, this got triggered. And now what I can do is I'll simply say copy this data to clipboard. See here what happened. There is a pin, and the data which I run through from my previous execution, I simply got that whole data over here. And currently this data is pinned data. Pinned means like it's already stored over here for all the subsequent execution, like by the by manually from my side. If I run it, I can run it whatever number of times I want, and this will keep on like following the same data or same output which I pinned over here. So in total, I gave it the static data, how we used to do in make.com as a parse JSON and then get data from there. Instead, I can even extract data or map it into the editor right from any other previous executions, right? So now I have data already hold it over here. Now we got our first level form submission, and as I said, you can also embed and you can do things. So this can be either embedded as a button, or within this particular coding itself, we can do, we want to embed, and then iframe can be created over here. Now, once we have this data, we'll have to connect to Google Sheets. So we can pass this data into Sheets over here. So now I'll go here and I'll say Google Sheet. And I am going to consider every application as a new application, whether someone is applying, let's say for a second time, third time, fourth time for any other job as well. I'll consider it's a new application all the time, because obviously it's a new initiation from the candidate side. So I'll always use something called append a raw into sheet, right? So don't get confused about if someone applied already in like 6 months back, what happens? So it's nothing like that. We are considering every new application as a new entry. So we'll say append raw in sheet. So here I'll say add application, job application data in sheets, right? Here I'll have to add my connection. So what you can do over here, you'll have to go through this entire process of Google connections. And once you do connection, you'll have to have this client ID, client secret, how we did yesterday. For Prabhat, I'll share you a proper video of this, which is already created.
Thanks, Manish.
Sure. So let's say I'm selecting one of the connection which is already done. We call gross tax admin. Let me see if it is working. Okay, perfect. It's working. Now, see here. In case of any file selection, it's similar to what we did in Make. So it says connection. Now, sheet within a document. And then over here, we said append a row, which is our operation. What to do? Append row, update row. So unlike make.com, you don't have to go for like multiple different modules to connect. You can simply copy this module, change the action over here, and this can become your next module, right? So one module can have all of these multiple actions one at a time, but there is no segmentation of module as such, different module for different things, right? So essentially you can change any action operations later on, even within this module as well. Now, in terms of document selection, there are a couple of things given over here. One is you can choose it from a list. If I click here, you get to see list of all the different files which are created inside my Google Drive. If I don't see that any file is over here, maybe something is shared with me, I can go by this file URL. So file URL is nothing but I can go here, pick this whole URL, and I can put it like this. So even in that case, it's going to work. Or third is I can put only the file ID. File ID is nothing but, okay, anything which is after the term called D over here. So see how it is structured. It says docs.google.com spreadsheet, and there is a D, and then this whole ID of this file until edit, until the next slash. So even this can be picked up and you can put it here to have your file mapped into Anatan. So by default, I'll go with from list because it's like most easiest way. And here I can see there's something called ATS automation project. So let's click on this. Now within this, I should have sheets. So here I say, let's go back. Currently the sheet name is called sheet 1. I'll say job application. I'm just changing the sheet name. It's job applications, right? I go back here and now I got one sheet. It's called job application. Let's choose this as well. Now, in case of Anatan, it gives you the flexibility of adding all of these things, as well as if you wanted to have any automated mapping in terms of, let's say, any tools which are associated with AI or any sort of AI module, then you can go with map data automatically, and then it can matches a specific column and data can be mapped. But essentially for us, we are going to map all these data in each of these respective columns. So I'll say candidate name, fairly straightforward. Name can be drag and drop over here. Email, see, in case of Anatan, you have to drag and drop values until this point. Otherwise, in case of make, you can simply click here and the value will be added inside your wherever selected, things will be added. Now, another good stuff, it can also show you the preview of value. What is going to come here? So when I added something values into this, let's say jason.manish or jason.name, it says Manish M is going to be the value inside this column. So while mapping things, you get to see how the values will look alike. Then highest qualification, obviously over here. Similar way, current role, I said position. I think we missed out the current role over here. Okay, we'll add that field. Then position applied is available over here. And the resume link, we don't have resume link. We have the resume file, right? So we'll have to think about it, how to go with these two fields, current role and resume link. Let me go back, quickly fix this form where I should have one more field which says current designation or current role. So else, okay, not the option. This is the form. Everything looks good. Add field option. And here I'll not this one. Over here, add form element. And I'll say current role or current designation. It's going to be a plain text, so anyone can enter this text value. And I can just move it a little upper. So or maybe I'll have to zoom out. Email, current role, position applied, and resume uploaded. Perfect. Done. Now let's go back and let's quickly try this, whether it's working or not properly. So let me take the production URL. Let's go back and see current role also came. So let's go and try one more time. Say Manish M, phone number, and have email address, highest qualification. Current role is, let's say, project manager. And over here, applied for project manager role, upload resume. I can simply go ahead and upload any of these resume thing and apply over here. Now, this automation scenario is supposed to work because it was saved already and we should get data here. Perfect. See here, we got our data inside this Google Sheet, right? So at least this much data and current role was yet to be mapped. A resume link is yet to be mapped. Now see here, if I go back to execution, I can take this latest data as a pinned data instead of just relying on the previous one. So what I do, simply going here, I'll say copy whatever data passed through on these two modules in the previous execution, copy to editor, and simply replace the previous one, got the current one. And over here, now I'm getting even current data as well. So let's go back and append this current role into this particular field, right? So this is what we have done in terms of data mapping. Now we have to do the file mapping as well. See, few things. So let's say not the form validation as such, because form is not going to validate whether data was duplicate or not, because this form doesn't store data, right? So it will not never know what
Oh,
was submitted in past. So data is being stored over here, or N10 is not storing anything within its own memory. So it's just passed here and then it can be put in here. What I can do,
oh,
I can apply additional Google Sheet module here, and I'll say if this data already exists, then pass some message says to the candidate you submitted a duplicate application in last 1 day, 2 days time, and so on. So I could always go here and say get raw, and this get raw can, let's choose a connection over here, ATS, this thing. Let's go to job application. I can add a filter, and this filter can be based upon the person's email. So here I go and I'll say instead of sorry, directly adding value into my system, let's try add filter. This is all good, and execute these steps. See, Deepak, just a quick look. So when we have this pin data over here, I can even execute the step individually. So if I click on execute, I get to see total number of records, like 3 items are being responded, and I got this entry over here. If I can add one more date column, and I can respond to this person said if my and even I can apply here if else condition. So I'll say if any of the output exists over here, let's say raw number exist or is available, in that case it should move to one direction, else it should move to some other direction, and so on. Let's remove this, and I'll have two strings, either true or false. So if it doesn't exist, go here. If it exists, then maybe send an email to this person and say you submitted duplicate application, or your application already exists for this particular role, and so on. So here I can go and I'll say respond to this form. See, respond when form is submitted. Instead, I'll say workflow finishes. And in this case, I could apply, give me a second, it's supposed to be custom message, form response, form submitted, direct to URL, not this way. I think I'll have to check. Either we can send an email or maybe we can respond to a webhook. Let's try. I'm not very sure it's going to work or not, but let's see. And it could have some sort of a response field. You submitted a duplicate request, whatever, duplicate application, right? Something like this. Now it's supposed to work. Let's see if it works or not. I haven't tested, but we could figure out some better ways if it doesn't work. Oh, my bad, actually. Was the number expecting a string? Number exists is fine. And obviously respond to webhook supposed to happen as soon as the webhook is being triggered. So I may have to resubmit one more application, and we'll see if it goes. I'll just add some values, couple of things over here. If it doesn't work, we'll try to explore some good way to it. Problem submitting, try again if problem exists. Sorry, I deviated a little bit from our top agenda, but let's see what it says. Okay, wait, did I forget to?
In
Yeah,
form, in number field, you have entered a text type.
I saved it actually. I already changed. It's a number now. So why it is even taking this? We unpin some data. Let's see. This is okay. Let's go back here. Let's try to utilize. No, I think it was a previous run. And then I changed, and then it. Okay, not by webhook. We'll have to figure out something else. But essentially, not webhook. I could have said send an email instead of this webhook part, right? But I hope essentially you got, so we can respond to this person saying that you got a duplicate application, and we'll try to figure out if there can be an instant response within this form over here, like the form itself can say you submit duplicate, right? So obviously we'll get to see once the person is being submitting application, but yeah, we can control this by any sort of respond to him, to this guy. So I hope you understood some basics of what we were trying to do. Let's click save. Even though I change a module, let me try. I'll say debug in editor. I got all these values over here. No, not right. This data is here. And again, I'll have to execute some nodes from previous step. Okay, sorry guys, it's just wasting some time because of these value corrections here. I'll disconnect and let's leave it until this point. So I'll even disconnect this part. We'll enhance it later on. Otherwise, our time will fall short. So for now, what we are trying to do is we will say simple update data into this particular Google Sheet, and we are getting data over here. So multiple times, whatever number of times we submitted application, data is being populated over here. Now, once we do this, we also want to store this resume somewhere because data is being stored already here. But even though I try, I will not have the resume link because N10 does not store any files. So in this case, I'll have to store this resume file somewhere and then link can be picked up. So essentially the best place is to have Google Drive to store such data stuff. So I'll say, go to my Google Drive, this drive over here, and I'll create a new folder, which can be nothing but hiring, uh, whatever, hiring folder, let's say, and I can put a hash over here just to make it at the top. So I got hiring folder at the start. Now I can as soon as this resume part comes in, I can simply store or upload this resume into my Google Drive. So here I come and say Google Drive. Over here, upload a file, and this upload file is supposed to go into my GrowStacks connection. File name can be picked up right from here itself. So whatever the person uploaded their file name, either I can use that same file name or I can use the person name and a combination of his name as well as dash this person's email address. Right, these two values which can come up as Manish M dash Manish at gmail.com. This makes it a more unique combination and a more unique file name. Then it's asking me, where do you want to store this file? What is your parent folder? So I created a folder which says hiring folder, and within this, I'm going to create one more folder that is called resume folder. So resumes. Now let's get back and I'll go back here, parent folder. We're supposed to have a hiring folder is here. And within this, I could either choose like a one sequence of hiring folder, or I can go with the resume folder as well. So resume folder also comes here. So either resumes is available right here itself. I uploaded, or I'm going to upload this resume over here. I'll say upload resume. And then once the resume is being uploaded, I'll say this resume link has to be uploaded or being shared back to this particular Google sheet, right? For this part, in case of pin data, it doesn't store any of the file data as such. So files are not, or let's say, since it's a large data, those binary data is not pinned over here from any of the execution. So in this case, I have to go and give it an actual like form submission one more time. But by that time, what I can do is, what this entire system asking me, it says, where is your input data? In case of make.com, we used to have something called data field, which can be mapped over here. And by default, they also call this data name as data itself. But in this case, we have this data name or this particular field name as upload resume. So I'll have to change it. Let's remove this data and put upload resume over here. And now I go back, click save, and let's resubmit this entire form. So production, go back over here, and this is our job form. So one more time. And the only reason is because this particular platform doesn't pin the file data or the binary data. That's why I have to go here and do this entire submission one more time. And let's click apply. Now, obviously over here, it is going to run this particular automation sequence. Sometime it may take time to reflect it over here. It will be in queue and then it will run through. Okay, while you self-host your N10, just bear in mind one thing, which I encountered one of the issue. Sometime if your file storage is not dedicated or if it doesn't have enough storage available, your form will start giving you problems that you cannot upload a file. And those are the cases where you should be mindful to check and ensure that storage are there or you have things available. Or maybe there are some other ways as well. So that can help us. Now let's see, form submitted. Okay, this went, and let's pull this back. So see here, we copied this data from our log or from our execution part, and now the entire log is being appeared over here. Now this is the hiring folder. Inside this I have a resume folder, and I got this file, which was whatever file was there, but I essentially got this PDF file uploaded over here. Now when I run this entire automation sequence, this module would have given me a couple of things after uploading file. There's a file ID, there's a file name, which I suppose like asked it, put a name and a combination of email. Then file type is PDF and so on. Now there is something called web content link, web view link. So web view link is something which can help us to view this file via a link sharing as well. So let's say if I come here, I paste it, I should be able to see the content of that particular file. See here, this entire file is available like this. So anyone who get this link obviously should have this Google Drive access as well. Otherwise, I'll have to go and do this sharing part as well. But I assume that people who are working on this entire system will have Google Drive access. So this web view link has to be inserted into my particular job application, this resume stuff. So I'll go here and I'll say web view link has to be inserted like this. Now, in previous of this, my job application form has all of these values. Supposed to look good. Let me try and one more time. This was already saved. So essentially all data supposed to come over here. Wow. Let me see. Sometime when we are doing this test case or let's say working with this test data, it loses the connectivity. That's only the small problem. Okay. Sorry guys, we'll just have to reconnect the values from our webhook or this form part. And this is a little while you're setting up, it's not perfect as such. So you just have to remap values if they lose out the context. See here, at the start, it was only this candidate name, right? Sorry, only this JSON dot phone number or this JSON highest qualification. Now it got things over here. It says candidate name as well. So that's why it is losing the thing. Let me remap this. There's supposed to be add one more column, which is email, and I could simply map this email over here. So while you're changing any element name or something, you should be careful about this data mapping as such. Otherwise, it'll be keep on failing. Okay, highest qualification goes here. Along with this, current role is over here, and job applied for goes over here, right? Now let's click save, and let's one last time rerun this and fill the form data over here. So currently we have only the file ID or whatever file resume link, but we should have everything back in this picture. Okay, this is fine. Yeah, gmail.com, MCA, current role is PM, applied for is project manager, resume goes over here. Could be anything, it's a statement, but I'll just apply this and let's see how it goes. See here, so all the values came out like this into our sheet, including the whole URL. And now this URL could have been like, if I wanted to see the resume, I can simply click here and I can see the resume part. Obviously, it's a bank statement, not resume. It has some password protection and all, but essentially your file will come over here, right? So first part, we got our basic data into this entire Google Sheet. Now we wanted to compare like how this resume matches with our particular job description. So let me ask AI over here. Can you help me? Okay, we are growth tracks and hiring for project manager role. Help me create a short JD for this role where person should have 10 years of experience. Maybe let's reduce it to 5 years and go to skill set and growthstacks.com, and I'll simply go here. I'll say do web searches all there already. Let's try. Now it's going to go there and will allow us to create a particular JD for this role. By that time, since we have multiple roles, now we would want multiple JD, as well as this form is going to accept multiple different type of applications altogether. So I should be able to accommodate all these applications, all these job types into my single automation workflow. So what I'm going to do here, I'll say add one more sheet, and here I say job details master, right? And now I could put something here, let's say job name or job title, it can be anything, and I'll say job description goes here. So instead of having any PDF or any sort of document, I can put the entire JD right here itself. So my first role is something called marketing manager. And obviously, why I'm writing this, because I have to compare the candidate resume towards my particular job description or job responsibilities. So marketing manager is there. I'll say project manager is also there, just to make it dynamic, right? And we have automation engineer. Now let's make it a table. You can add more and more as per your requirement, but essentially these are three jobs what I have. Now, first is this is my job description. I'll not emphasize anything on the part of location or something. That's all good. I'll go back and I can say project manager job goes over here. Location can be, let's say in this case, Mumbai, and rest all placeholders are good. So this is my JD for the project manager part. Same way I can say similar way, please create JD for marketing manager with 6 years of experience. And same way, I'll ask it to create for automation engineer altogether. So all the cases, I could simply route each of these jobs as per my application, which is coming in. Okay, nice. It did a good job. And I'll say same for automation engineer as well. By the time I'll go back, I'll apply this thing to marketing manager. Okay. And here are multiple jobs. One is for marketing manager, second is for automation engineer, and this is my basic database for project manager as well. I'll simply put it something over here as well. Okay, this is also done. Let's go back and update things over here. Right now, three jobs and three different titles or everything came up like this. So I made a small database where I could have job descriptions handy with me. Now, what I can do, I'll go here and I can apply either one of the custom field or let's say one of the mapping field using let's say inbuilt functionality of Google Sheets, or I can go here and I'll say I want to, in first step, as soon as I added all the data, next steps are going to be I want to compare the person's resume with the job description using some sort of AI module. But for that, I'll need two things. One is the job description, and second is the resume content. So first, let's try to extract the resume content. So over here, when we go into N10, N10 got a couple of really good modules. One of them is called extract data. So if I go here, extract file, it says extract from file, and this file can be any of these file types. So it says get or extract data from a PDF file, right? So essentially, I should first have file inside this environment, and then I can map this file so it can be converted into a proper text. So first of all, the file which I uploaded over here on the Google Drive, I want to download that file one more time to bring it workable with this particular module. So I'll say Google Drive, and here I have something called download file. Now download file supposed to come right from this admin grow stacks URL, and I just have to provide the file ID. That's more than good. So here I go, and I'll say here is my file ID. Why I'm mapping file ID? Why not to select from drop down? Because this file supposed to change all the time. Whenever someone submits a resume, file will all the time will be keep on changing. So I'll say download resume file, right? Then once we have this file here, let's try to download, let's say copy this thing. I'll go here and I'll try to first just to see whether it's working, execute the step, and it's supposed to get me the file data over here. See here, so file data came and the file name is manish@gmail.com, PDF file, and so on. So now I'll say, let's map it, or we remap things from my actual module, which is here, right? So now it's a binary file which will be downloaded when it was uploaded on the Google stuff. Then I'll go here and I'll say extract data from this downloaded file. So here is something called extract from a file. Let's choose this. And here we have something called extract from PDF. So let's go, and it says, what is your data type look like? So I'll say it's a data, it's a binary data. And over here, the file name itself or this field name itself is called data. So it's by default mapped. If I click on execute this step, it's supposed to get me all the data or content which is there inside this PDF. So let's try to execute and let's see. We'll have to go back to this application form. We'll have to fill it one more time. Why we are doing it? Even though there is a functionality called pin data or copy data from the editor, like from the executions, because there is a file involved at the start. And because of that reason, it's asking us to keep on doing this. Files cannot be pinned actually. So files are not stored or cannot be pulled back into this editor part. That's why we have to resubmit it. Otherwise, if it was a normal data without any file or without any binary stuff, we could have run it multiple times. But for now, I'll have to resubmit this form again and again and again whenever I test. At least these initial steps are important. So the MCA, current role is PM. This is also PM. File goes here. Currently, I'm just attaching a policy file. It's not my actual file or my actual resume, but I'll say apply and let's see what happens. So I'll go back into the execution, and currently this execution is working. Okay, it's done. See here what happened. It got me all the data, terms and condition, all of these text outside of this file, right? So if I go to JSON, I get to see the whole data extracted right from my file over here until this point. And even if I want to see this file, what's there, you can take a look. This is 67 kilobytes of file size. Okay. Or maybe I could have shown you on my drive, but essentially it was a terms and condition kind of a document which I uploaded and all the data came out. If it was a resume, can also come out. Now, since we have all the data until this point, what I want, the resume data is here. Let's rename quickly. This is resume content extracted. Now I want to have my job data as well, like what is the job description? And these two things supposed to get into one of the OpenAI GPT or those kind of modules. So we got our resume content. Now we wanted to go with our job description content as well. And where is the job description? Our job description actually exists over here into this job detail master, right? So I have all these marketing manager and all. What I can do, I'm adding another module over here from Google Sheet. And all of why we are keep on doing these many things, because we are not sure which job form will come. For example, if I know, let's say this particular scenario or this form is built for only one single job type, then I can even hard code the data into my prompt or into my AI. But since I don't know, there are 4 jobs can be applied right from this particular form. In that case, I'll have to keep my job description as well into a dynamic format. So if someone is applying for this, I should get this JD. Someone is applying for project manager, I should get PMJD from this database from my job description master. As I said, if it was only one single, let's say only marketing manager, I could have hard coded that as well. But we are trying to make it a flexible dynamic system. So I'll go here, I'll say Google Sheets, and in this case, we'll say get raw, and over here, I will go and let's choose connection. ATS project automation sheet is job detail master. And here I'll apply a filter, which is nothing but I'll say job name is equal to the job which person applied for. So here we say position applied for is a product or project manager. Now, if I run this, it's going to be giving me a specific job description data only for the project manager. See here, if I would have changed it, let's say to marketing manager or automation engineer, it would have given me that data. But essentially over here, we got the project manager output. So now we have both the things. We have this candidate resume data and we have job description data as well. So here I'll say job description content. Now I can add one AI module, and this AI, I'll ask it, can you please help me to get data formatted, or sorry, compare these two things, the resume and as well as the job description, and get me some sort of scoring based upon match, based upon a skill set, and so on. So I'll go back to this particular Claude. Let's build it, or maybe give it here itself. Hey, I'm creating a AI evaluation module where I want to compare the job descriptions and the candidate resume content. Can you help me create a system prompt for my AI module where you should ask it to compare both the things, which are variables I'm going to submit. And along with this, get me three output. One is how much does it match in terms of percentage? So how much, let's say the job resume matches with the job out of 100, you can score it at 10, 20, 30, 40, 50%. It should be a number which is coming out, an absolute number, not percentage. Second is based upon your response, whether this person is selected or rejected. The selection criteria is matching at least 50%. And third is the return result, whether it's rejected or selected. All these outputs should come into a proper, well-structured JSON format. So also give a JSON structure while you write this prompt. Then it should get us a quick prompt over here. By the time it's doing its job, I'll go back and I can add one of the modules. See, in this case, we don't need any AI agent as such. We can directly go with OpenAI, this basic module altogether. Right, so I'll go with this. And here we say message a model. Even you can create your own assistant as well. So assistants can be created and assistant can be configured with their respective, let's say, instructions and all. But for now, I'll say we are going to use OpenAI as a text message a model. Here I can choose any basic model, which can be any mini model, 4.1. Let's go with 4.1. Here is our prompt, and like how we used to do with make.com, multiple layer of prompt can be put in: a user, assistant, and system prompts. User prompt essentially to give any sort of dynamic data or our core requirement data, and system prompts are primarily for any sort of system level instructions, which are the guiding principle, or let's say the core directions of the AI agent or this AI automation workflow. So here I'll go and say, first of all, candidate resume content, something like this. And here I can add value from this extracted part, which is nothing but text coming out from this module, right? And this is how it's supposed to look like. Second is, and even I can make them all of working like an assistant. Here I say job description content, and over here job description goes like this. And the third part is going to be my system prompt, which is nothing but the whole instruction created by this particular Claude, right? So it says you are an expert HR AI evaluation assistant or system designed for this. You should compare these things here and there. Selection more than 50%, less than 50% rejection. Couple of scoring guideline, how to score anything. And further down, a few things. Expected JSON output structure. Wow, it's cumbersome. We don't want that much output. Okay, done. What I want is only this part of the instruction JSON I can create myself. Output format supposed to be a proper JSON. That's all good. So I'll go back, and on the system instruction, this is assistant. Over here, I can put this entire thing. Now, while you're working with N10, whenever you click over here, there are two things. See this small bubbles over here, or let's say these things. One is called, it's a fixed value. Fixed value means you just add something. It works like a string. It works like a fixed content. If you go with expression, you can have dynamic values added over here as a reference to previous modules. So I'll go with expressions, and then I'll open it to a full box. And here is my entire thing goes, right? I can define a proper JSON structure, output JSON structure. And here I can create a quick JSON. So I'll say, let's go with this. First of all, my first thing is score, and a score supposed to be, let's say 50 or whatever, 10, 20, 30, whatever, right? Second part is here I define the result, whether the person is selected or slash rejected. And even I want one more thing over here. I'll say, can you give me a reason behind the selection or rejection? So I'll say reason for result and a small uh, what a small brief about the result, right? Something like this. So this is how my JSON is supposed to look like, and I can put one comma here. So this is the JSON output structure what I'm expecting from this entire system. Now, once it does, I can also have one more setting called output contained as JSON. So I'll say yes, that's toggle, and it should supposed to get me content like this. Apart from that, all the other let's say iterations or penalty or those kind of advanced settings, they are all given over here. We are not going to touch them, but essentially we are good. And I'll say job application matching. If I execute this now, let's see what happens. Since we have this entire data being populated over here, it says score is 10, rejected, because the candidate resume contains only the terms and condition, privacy policy, so. It doesn't have anything to, because I uploaded a wrong document. So that's why this result came out like this. But essentially, all of these values are coming up like this as a mappable stuff. And finally, I can go back and I update the Google Sheet. So here I'll say sheet, and then I'll say update a row, which is over here. I'll choose my connection, admin gross tax, to the document, ATS, and to the sheet, which is over here. Now, one thing, we did not put any criteria or any sort of column placeholders for these value. So first of all, after this point, I'll create three more columns where I say application matching score. Second is again application matching result and result reason. Right. So these three things are being put in here. We can simply do some sort of a different color. So we will get to know what is it about. So we are now updating raw into our Google Sheet. And here I said update based upon the email matching. And here we'll say application matching score will come from here. The result will come from here. And finally, the application matching result reason will come from here. Right. And if I run the step, let's see what happens. It's supposed to update. See here, all of these three values are being updated like this. Let's go back, maybe format it a little bit. So now when this person applied, his application is going to be reviewed immediately, and then he'll get to see these kind of responses, like these kind of updates inside the system. I could have made it a little bit more beautification. So I could have said like, okay, rejections goes into red and all the selection goes into green, right? So this could have been selected. We could put some sort of a delay over here. So now let's say after this point, either you can put delay, or you're right. Like many a time these ATS are these days failing because of a simple reason. It detects some keyword. Those are not trained with these kind of AI models or something, not whether good prompts and all. So what we can do here, I can go and say not just this rejection, I would say AI rejection, AI selection, and there can be two more things. So human selection or human decision, human review done or human review pending, something like this, right? HR review pending. So maybe HR selected, HR rejected. So depend upon HR's involvement or their bandwidth. So here is our technical assessment part. If I go back, let's make it something like green. And technical assessment status can have a few status, which could say, okay, here's my drop down, and I go and say pending. It could be not required, or this could be completed, right? So completed can be green, not required can be a yellow, and pending can be red, right? So not required means if someone got rejected, I'll say their assessment is not required. If someone got selected, then I'll say their assessment is pending unless until that person completes. So we would have sent him, but his side is pending. Then scores will come here as the basic number based scores. Result again is going to be the same, whether selection, rejection, or HR selected, rejected. And reason is going to come for the whole text, what we are expecting the AI to give us. Now let's get back, and over here, I'm going to write two emails to this, let's say to the candidate, right? So here, in this case, I can use one of the module that's called the flow, and flow can have either switch case, switch can have two routes. So route 1, route 2, and based upon selection or rejection, it can send a particular email. So I go with switch. Now, as soon as I do, switch is being applied over here. Switch is nothing but a router in case of make.com. And here I say, if the value coming over here is equal to rejected, then I can also name it like a output. So I'll say this branch is going to be called as rejected. And if the output is going to be selected, then it's supposed to go with selection root, and I'll say selected is the branch name. Now here we can also apply when we're comparing these strings. There is something called, see here, match does not match, equal to not equal to. there's an option that's called ignore case. So we can make it case insensitive. Sometimes if AI puts this entire rejected as full case or like the capital case, in that case it may be an issue. So I'll say ignore the case part. And now if I go back, see here, two routes created. One is called rejection, one is called selection. So in case of rejection, I'll go here and I'll say Gmail. Into this, send a message. It can go from admin account, message send to address supposed to be. Okay, this is going to give us a small problem. Let's see. Okay, when you try to map values after a particular point, let's say after this particular switch or this particular router, it gives you problem. If it doesn't pass, it's not allowing you to create or add any value from previous selection. So what I can do, I can come here just as a kind of workaround, or I can even click this one over here. Maybe let's go to this part. Here I say, see, I got this value by this name. It's called json.email, right? So in this case, I can go back and simply add this value called json.email. Currently, it says it's a blank. It's not a wrong value, not a right value. But whenever this route will get this value, it's going to automatically capture that json.email as such from the original submission. So sometimes we may have to pick values from there instead of running the entire route from first to last point. We can have things arranged like this. Now, apart from this, let me get the template, selection template and rejection template. Let's see. Okay, so it's supposed to start from here until this point. I can go back and simply say maybe a selection, and the whole message goes like this. Dear the candidate name, I'll go back, remove this part. Either name can be put in like this. Job title, what they applied for. Thank you for applying for this particular job, which was this one. Please find, oh, sorry, it is a selection part. Fine. I'm not asking for any of these stuff. Please find below details. So I'll say here, not interview, but until this point, remove this part as well. And here I can say for the next round of interview process, here I'll say you will get an assessment very soon, right? And maybe the HR name or something, I'll say HR team, which is basic stuff. Contacts, I'll simply remove everything. I don't want to have any contacts or something like this now. So here is the HR team. I think that's it, what we wanted to convey to this candidate. And here I'll say selection email. Instead of this, you are moving forward. So I'll say, congratulations, you are moving forward. Done. So this is our selection part. I'll just have to change the mapping of this module because I put it on rejection part, but I'll say selected over here. In the same way, I can copy this, duplicate, and bring in over here. And similar to this, I can simply go and update this rejection email. I'll leave a couple of mappings from here. That's fine. Or I could simply go and pick it from the selection. Only needed things are the job application and the person name. So dear job applicant, you applied for this particular job. Sometime you have to play with this data thing. So please be ready for that. Rejected. Can open this. I can simply park some values here. And just to pick the name and those two variables. So after this candidate name could go and job title can be picked up from here. Right. Let's remove everything else. Best regard, HR team. And at the bottom, we don't want email as such. Perfect. Done. So this is the first part where we did entire first level of process, right from asking someone to send the information, assess them, and then send a selection or rejection email. If I would try to run this entire thing one more time, let's have a look. What I can go with is I'll say delete. Rest all your resumes are fine. And let me go back, run this entire thing. Is it saved? Yeah, it's saved. That's good. Say Manish. Phone number is something like this. Manish@growstacks.com. And currently I don't have any valid resume, so it's going to reject me anyways, but that's fine. Current role is PM. I'm applying for a PM and I'll say choose a file. I'm just taking policy file, which is nothing but a bunch of different terms and conditions and all those things. But yeah, okay, it's giving an error. Okay, client authentication, unknown client. I'll have to map some data over here. 1 second. I think this account is not working. Let's try with this one. I'll go back to executions. See here, this is how you can quickly debug into editor. And if I come here, I'll say use this Gmail. And if I try to run this only this particular step, let's see whether this connection is working or not. No authorization issue. Let me try only with, okay, maybe someone else's email address. I'm not sure who's VJ in this account, but from VJ's account, we sent an email out and this person got rejected. So I would have get email about a rejection. Okay, not yet. But essentially you see here, the email is being sent, right? So Email will come maybe anytime soon based upon this. Oh, my bad. I put Manish at Gmail, not gross tax. But yeah, this email is going to come. So this is first part of the entire string where we have connected right from our form into whole data. And this data is being populated over here into this entire sequence of Manish, right? Rejection. And this would have also updated like not required. So this is level one of the entire sequence. Now, after that, what do you want to say? We want to send them a technical assessment form based upon their specific role or specific job thing. So what I can do, I can have multiple forms created over here. So let's say at least for one job, maybe the project manager part, I can create a form submission one more time. Now, the beauty with Anytone is you can have multiple workflows created in one single screen or one single canvas. So if I come here, I'll say add another trigger. Let's say form submission. This can become my second trigger, and here it says assessment form dash project manager, right? So this is my form tool being created over here as a trigger point, and this form will help us to collect any assessment data for the project manager role. Now here I can put a couple of questions. So let's say form title is same way assessment form for the project manager, and answer all the questions. Again, this could have been any other proctoring tool as well. Here I go form element, and I'll say what are the top PMS project management system, or let's say I'll be explicit project management. What are the top tools? This could have been a long answer. Instead of a short answer, I could go with any sort of long answer or maybe any sort of multi-line text. Then second level, I could go and say, how do you handle tight timelines from client? Then I could say something else. How do you handle team absenteeism? These kind of questions, right? So I ask three questions over here, and I'll say form submission, all good. It's a basic thing. Now, based upon this particular form's URL, what I can do, I can send this person another email. Whoever got selected, I supposed to send them an email and say, you have to follow this particular assessment, right? Or complete this particular assessment. So I come here and I'll say send another Gmail email. And since I have my form dedicated over here, so based upon this form, based upon this particular job description or that job role, I can send him an extra email where I say, here is your form link, and you have to submit this particular assessment within next 24 hours or so on. So here, say it's assessment time. And over here, I could have either written HTML, so I can ask it to my AI, write an email to this candidate that they have to complete one assessment for project manager role, and the assessment form link is given over here. So this is my form link. Now it's supposed to write a quick email, assessment email template, and this is how the entire assessment email template comes over here and this assessment link. So let's go back and try to pick out this part of it. Let's move back. All good over here. Dear candidate name. So obviously candidate name can come from our first submission. Nothing but over here. Drag and drop. Job title, what they applied for, is coming in here. Then further down, assessment link. So here I can give the assessment link behind the scene, which is nothing but this href. So either I can include this link from my side, or this can be included automatically into a dynamic mode. So here we go, and we'll say, I think this is our entire assessment form link. Okay, let's go back. Done. Now, along with this, we will say duration, deadline, or something like this in next 2 days or in next 2 hours. And again, a duration of in next 2 hours. I'll leave all of these things from here. Best regards is fine, but rest everything should be removed. So we have less and less things. Perfect. All looks good. Let me try to send this email to someone so I can at least have some idea. I'll say manish@crosstax.com. Node executed successfully. No data to view. That's fine. We'll resubmit one of the applications and we'll see how it goes. Okay, but there are chances that I may not want to send this assessment immediately as soon as the selection is done. What I can say, instead of sending it immediately, I can put a delay over here. So this can be delay or this can be wait, and wait can help you to wait for, let's say, 5 seconds, 5 minutes, 5 days, 5 hours, whatever you want. So I could put, let's say, 1 minute of delay after this particular steps get executed. So this email goes after 1 minute, this will also go. And then here we're going to send the assessment as well. So I'll say assessment sent. And finally, I'll also update maybe one of the, okay, maybe let's update over here itself. So whoever got selected, I will simply go and say this person assessment status will be marked as pending. So here I can say assessment status supposed to be marked as pending, right? And that's it. Let's click save. and let's run through the entire exercise one more time quickly. Can or one of you please try this? That will be helpful. So please submit your resume and let's see how it goes. I just want to see one of the quick example end to end. And you will get to see this particular form link, which is nothing but our assessment form. And when we get data from here, this form, then we are going to have our second workflow created with the help of AI. Now, one quick thing, guys, put your attention one more time back over here. See, whenever anyone is going to fill this assessment form, which is a project manager assessment, how will I get to know whether who's this person? Is it Abhishek? Is it Manish? Is it someone else? And this form is going to get completely messed up, right? So what I can do is within this form, I can have one field which called either the person supposed to enter their email, and I can leave it like an enter your email address as well. One way to do things, and it's again a required field. All of these are required field only. So someone has to submit their email address while they're submitting this form. If I execute this, see here how does look like. It says what are your top project questions, this thing, and then email address. And based upon email address, I could go back and match whatever this person, wherever this person exists. I can pick their latest record and I can match that particular record inside the Google Sheet. But in case if I wanted to avoid this part, I'll say, okay, you don't have to put your email address over here. I can take care from my side, right? From my own side. What I'll do in this case, I go to this particular form, and since there is a variable or there is a field called email, I can autofill this particular field with a variable at my browser URL itself. So if I say email is equal to manish@gmail.com, if I hit enter, see this email came automatically over here, right? So if you provide any of these parameters at the top URL, the parameter can be captured directly inside this particular email section. Now, how to utilize this? I can do two things. One is I'll say I want to instead of creating an explicit field over here, I can say I want to create a hidden field, which is element type is going to be, in this case, hidden field, right? And the hidden field name is going to be email. So in this case, I can remove it from here. I don't want this email part. It's going to be hidden field, and the field value will be decided by the person who's going to submit it. Now, how to utilize this part? I have to map. Look at this very carefully. You'll be amazed. So see here, when I send them a URL, which is nothing but this assessment URL, I can simply modify the URL which I have been put in here. It says HTTP and form, the whole thing. And here I can say question mark email is equal to the email which this person originally submitted at the start of this entire thing. So see here, I mapped this email. Now, whenever they are going to submit this form, their email will be automatically captured right from this top URL itself, right? So this is how you can make things dynamic. Again, one more time, I'll quickly walk you through what I did. For example, currently I have this form which gives me email field, right? To put value into this automatically, I don't want this person to keep on filling email values over here. What I'll say, if I define this parameter, exact same name into the URL over here with a question mark, parameter is called email is equal to the email address. If I hit enter, see what, okay, the field is gone. I actually made it hidden field. Let me try to make it a normal email field just to showcase you how it's supposed to work. Click back, save, one more time. See here, email came right here itself. So I'll go back and say, maybe I can add someone else's email. I'll say sandeep@gmail.com. Enter, Sandeep automatically will come here, right? So this is how by mapping, while I'm sending them a URL for the assessment, my URL already contain this particular email address in a dynamic way. Since it's here, I can automatically get this filled. Now, on top of it, since I don't want to show this person like what value I'm capturing automatically, I'll say, let's make it hidden field. So I'll keep it hidden and then I'll define it as email. Whenever they're going to submit, they will not get to see I'm even capturing their email address. So now if I rerun this form, you will not see this field here, but still it will carry sandeep@gmail.com. So if I click one more time here, the field is gone from the UI part. I'll say, hey, hello, test, and click submit. If I would show you at the back end of the scenario, there will be 4 values, 3 questions plus 1 hidden email field. See here, this node got executed. Double click. Over here, we got this value, hey, hello, this question 1, 2, 3, and then email goes here, sandeep@gmail.com. So that's how, without showing people what's getting captured, we can always have these hidden values and they can go as a URL parameter inside your automation workflows. Okay, are we clear until this point? Okay, done. Let's get into the second phase quickly, and then we'll move on to the third and the last part of HR interviews as well. So essentially, first of all, we got the entire thing, whole string is connected, and then we are sending this person an email saying that you got selected for the first round, and here is your next step. Here is your assessment. The assessment, I provided an extra parameter, which is called email is equal to the person's email. And that too, it's a hidden field. So in this case, whenever they fill form, they will not realize, but we will have their entire data available with us. Right. So now I can go here and I'll quickly add a couple of things. So let's say AI module first of all. And to this AI module, I'll say OpenAI, message a model. And here I'll say OpenAI, this connection is fine. Let me choose one of the models, which can be mini is more than good, 4.1. And here I say, here is the, so this is a job application assessment for project manager profile. And I have asked him a couple of questions. Based upon that, the candidate answered. I'm going to feed you questions as well as their answer. And your job is to evaluate whether the answers are good, bad, and selectable or not. And finally, give me output into total three values output. The first is how much score they achieved out of total 100. It's a number. Second is the result, whether it's selected or rejected. The criteria is the person should at least score 50% or 50 marks out of 100. And the third thing is what is the reason behind result. So why someone selected or rejected. Okay, it's here. And then on top of it, I'll say here is the JSON output structure. I'll quickly define one of the output like how we did earlier. Same way, score and score supposed to go here. Then there is something called result. Then there is something called reason for result. Small explanation. And result supposed to be either selected or / rejected, right? Now, this is part one of my prompt. So here I say, this is going to be my system prompt. Obviously, I can put it at the top, that's fine. And here I'll say questions asked and their answers. The first question I asked it, what are the top project tools? Or let me just copy them from here itself. All of these questions. I'm putting this somewhere on Notepad. Okay. And now, one by one, we can quickly drop them into our OpenAI module. So here is our OpenAI. And at the bottom, I'll say, these are three questions. Question number 1, 2, and 3. So the first answer goes here. Second answer goes here. And the third answer also goes here. So I'll say answer. And this was my question. Obviously, this could have been defined in a better way, but see here. So I got all the questions and their respective answers mapped. Now if I click run once, let's see what happens. Oh, one thing I forgot actually, output into JSON. So let's rerun this one more time. And we got 0 rejected. Candidate did not provide any answers to this any of these questions. Now I'll go back and I'll say update result. So this result has to be updated. I can reuse this module. So I'll simply say duplicate. The module is being connected over here. And I could go in with the same thing. I want to check their matching record based upon the email address. Email goes over here. Right now, I don't want to update any of these candidate name, phone number, highest qualification, current role, position, nothing like that. I can remove all of them. And here I say assessment completed. Assessment score supposed to be this. Assessment technical result supposed to be this. And over here, the result reason also goes over here. Right now, this step is done, and I can quickly go back and ask Claude, hey, I took a job application candidate's a technical assessment, and I want to send them a confirmation email that whether they are selected or rejected. In this email format, do not keep any variable. Just keep all the values static and prepare 2 email template, one for selection, one for rejection, without any variables mapping. Keep them in HTML format. Perfect. AI is supposed to do this quickly. Done. Started. The subject line is congratulations, you are selected. And it could have been like for next round. So here again, I can apply the same condition where I say go for a switch function into the flow switch case. And if my result is going to be selected, then simply move the selected route or rejection route. So this condition can come up, and I'll say if this is equal to rejected, go on one part, right? Over here it is output name is route name is going to be rejected. And on the second route, the same thing can go for selection. So I'll say if it is selected, it's supposed to go over here as selected. And finally, add option, I'll say ignore case because I don't want to make it case insensitive or sensitive. Now, in this case, again, I'll have these two modules for email. Either I can configure them or I'll go here. I'll say Gmail, send an email. VJ account will use that person's account. That's fine. Let's run the previous nodes. Okay, workflow did not execute because of the data issue. Oh, wow. Let me try this from assessment of project manager. Okay, it is asking us to provide this email. We can pick the email from here itself. So email ID is supposed to be here. Then the first level email is supposed to go to this person, which is nothing but a technical assessment update because this person got rejected. So I say technical assessment update, and here is the entire message content. Right. So let's bring in here doc HTML. Until this point, all good. So no variable as such. It's fairly straightforward expression driven thing. Right. This is a rejection email, and I can even put that rejected email, whatever, after the assessment part. Then on the second route, I can simply copy this or duplicate this entire thing. And here it goes on the selection route. So here I'll say selected email, and further down, all of these are good. I think we have 2 copies of it. Selection, I'll pick the selection draft. And here it says, congratulations, you are selected. Let's go back, update this thing. And okay, one more thing. In the selection email, add that you can expect a call from our HR team or our HR AI assistant from GrowStacks in next 24 hours. Please attend that call and give your first round of HR telephonic interview. Okay, let's quickly update this part. I think it's done. Selection email, the whole thing can be copied over here, back into this. You are selected, all good. Just to check, no variable should be there. Perfect, there is no variable as such. Write a similar way selection or rejection email for the first round, which is a resume matching round. So where when job applicant apply for the job, I want to send them an email that your resume does not match the given job description, or your resume matches and you're moving forward. So these kind of selection rejection email at the job application level as well, in the same way how you wrote this one. Do not keep any variables and give output into an HTML format. Okay, so at least this part is done. And here you see, if someone is going to be selection rejection, they will expect to get a call from the HR, and the record is supposed to be updated accordingly. So what I can do, see here, I did based upon the email matching, we are going to update technical assessment score result and the whole technical assessment reasoning as well. Now, there are 2 more things to do. One is, since we updated this entire thing, now we're supposed to trigger a call to this person. Call is going to be actual voice AI call, and AI is supposed to talk to this guy and whatever, like say him or take his short interview. Now that can be achieved using a tool or a voice AI that is called VAPI, VAPI, right? So I go to VAPI. Similarly, there are plenty of other tools available: VAPI, Retail, Bland, Air, many of their SynthFlow, many of the tools are there. We generally use VAPI because of its like quite economical, as well as it is way more configurable, like how Make or Anytone are there. Same way, it has like in-depth configurations available. So I'll go with VAPI over here. I'll say VAPI, and then we already have our account created. So I'll go into this open dashboard. Now, once I land into this, you get to see a similar interface, how we create custom GPTs. Similar way, VAPI also give you to create AI assistant or voice AI assistants. Now, these assistants are fully configurable right from their entire, let's say, instructions, what kind of job they have to do, and so on. So I got a couple of accounts over here, switch organization, and I am going to use admin grow stacks. And for next 10 minutes, let me quickly explain this entire VAPI part. Just be very careful, attentive on this entire VAPI thing. It'll give you a good idea how voice AIs are being configured. So essentially, as soon as we get in here, there are a couple of things on the right hand side, or sorry, on the left hand side. One is called assistants. Assistants are nothing but similarly how we have custom GPTs. Then there are tools. So how we saw yesterday, AI require, let's say if this AI is supposed to only talk, it's all fine. But if this AI is supposed to talk as well as do some actions, for example, if it is a customer support agent and one customer asks that, what is the status of my complaint? Now AI is supposed to go to the database, extract his complaint status, and then answer him, right? Or maybe if customer says, can you please raise a ticket for me? Or maybe can you tell me my order status or something like that? in those cases, AI is supposed to interact with some other systems altogether. And that thing happen using tools, how we associated tools with our AI agent inside Anytime. In the same way, tools are also working over here to give it flexibility to interact with multiple data points or multiple system, again, using normal API calls. Then there is something called phone number. So obviously this AI assistant has an AI brain or the talking capability. But along with this, if you want to put it on a mobile phone or let's say on phone infrastructure, you will need phone numbers. Essentially, if you know a tool called Twilio, Twilio can give you phone numbers. You can buy international number, you can buy, let's say, US number or some other countries, and you can deploy these voice AI agent on a phone call. So someone calls inbound or they call outbound, they can utilize this particular phone number to interact with people. Then there is a voice library and a couple of other things. Now, I already created one of the HR assistant, and see here, this is how it's being configured. So first of all, when I get into HR assistant, sorry, any of the AI voice assistant, I can give it a name, and each assistant will have their own unique ID. Now, just below this, there are a couple of settings available that we'll discuss later on, like one by one, we'll have a quick look. But there are, there are some fundamentals which we need to understand while we are talking about or working with voice AI agents. First of all, we need to understand how a voice AI agent is being built. Because in case of GPT or those kind of thing, they are only generative agents, or let's say only generative text, right? But in case of voice, it require more components to make an agent speak to a human, right? So in this case, first of all, this particular voice AI agent will require a platform, will require that voice capability, the mouth, right, through which it's going to talk, and the infrastructure which help or enable it to talk, right, into any language or into any voice, any sound. But talking is important. So this talking aspect is given by VAPI or retail or these kind of platforms. So they enable talking agents. Now, on top of it, this mouth should have an associated brain. So when I say brain, like mouth cannot talk itself, right? Brain should give it command and then mouth's going to talk. So brain comes from any LLM. In this case, we have GPT 4.1 Nano or something like this, but you can have Claude, you can have DeepGram, you can have, let's say, DeepSeek or something else. All of them are available as a brain. Like not DeepGram, sorry, this sort of misspell, but essentially any LLM can work like a brain. So VAPI is giving you the basic platform which has talking capability. Then any LLM is going to give you brain. Then along with this, it will also require to have some sort of, let's say, voice to it. Voice means talking capability is there, but in which accent you want it to talk. Let's say, do you want to talk on English or Hindi in American accent or European accent or Indian accent? So those voice version, or I would say those voice configurations come from different providers. Like if you heard about something called 11 Labs, they are really good with the voice synthesis. So you can configure 11 Lab voices over here. You can even train your own voice and make an AI agent work or this voice agent work and talking into your language, into your tone and everything. So the person will not be able to recognize like whether it's Manish or someone else. So those kind of addition can be done. Then along with this, if you are trying to put this on phone, there is something called Twilio or OneEdge. So I'll go with, let's say, Twilio, and Twilio can become the phone bridge. So now it has a mouth, it has an accent, it got a brain, and along with this, it also got capability to connect on the phone, right? So Twilio can be added like this. Apart from this, once the call gets over, now who knows what was the conversation happened on the call? So for that purpose, when voice agents are talking to someone, we want to have a complete transcript or recording of that conversation. Now, in this case, either recording can be saved on VAPI or somewhere. But if you wanted to utilize the call conversation for any further decision making or for any other, let's say, workaround, in that case, you will need that recording, that MP3 data has to be converted into a proper transcript. And that's where tool like DeepGram come in the picture. So they are transcribers. And obviously, we can use any other transcriber, Whisper or from ChatGPT or something else. So essentially, a voice AI agent is being built with the help of these 5, 6 different tools. And that's what actually get as a component for their cost and for their latency as well. So if you see, currently this agent is going to cost approximately 11 cent per minute, right? It's a little high cost, like in Indian rupees, it's about 12 rupees per minute, but still it is worth. And what all components are being contributed to this? See, these are the color indicators, and here are the cost comparison, like cost contribution by each of these components. So first of all, the hosting platform, which gives it the talking capability, is VAPI, charging you 5 cent every minute, right? Then there is something called DeepGram, which works for the transcription purpose, and transcriber is charging you 1 cent every minute of recording or every minute of conversation. Then over here, the brain part, we are using Nano 4.1 Nano model. So in that case, it is going to charge 1 cent for every single minute of conversation. Then further down, we are using VAPI voices. So it can have some voice configuration, as I said, American accent, Hindi, English, and so on. So in that case, VAPI is providing us this voice part, and they are charging about 2 cent for every minute of voice speech, or what do you say. And finally, Video is going to charge about 1.4 cent for every single minute of call throughout wherever you do, like either US, India, or somewhere else. So this is how the cost structure being calculated. Now, for any reason, if I go here and I'll say nano model is not going to work because it is a very low level model, very generic task can be done. I want my AI agent to be more intellectual. So I can go here and I would like to change the model. So in this case, see here, all of these models which are coming from GPT or let's say OpenAI, they are all listed like this, along with their prices and their latency time, how much they're going to take to respond. So if you're using GPT-5, it's going to cost you 8 cent per minute, and that has like about 1.5 seconds of delay. Same way, Mini is going to cost you, let's say 2 cent, Nano is going to 1 cent, and so on. So depend upon your requirement, your configuration. There is something called GPT Real-Time Cluster API. So if you use that, latency time is very low, only half a second, but it's costing about 1/4 or quarter of a cent. So if I choose this, let's say, for example, this one, I click publish. This agent will be costing 32 cent per minute. So it's insanely expensive, but still it's there. So depend upon our model use case, we can apply any one of them, and we can get rid of our costing part, or we can manage it in a structured way. Now, as I said, this is the costing part. Similar way, there is something called latency, which is how much time this agent takes to process what you said and respond to it. So essentially, currently it says it's 2 seconds of delay. But again, I can figure out which component is causing this delay. So VAPI as a platform, like themselves, they are working on the real-time basis. They are not contributing to any delay. They are the fundamental platform. But over here, DeepGram is going to cost, or is going to contribute 100 milliseconds of delay into the entire conversation, because it has to transcribe things into real-time basis. Then GPT 4.1 Nano is going to contribute about half a second more. Then over here, OpenAI, which is for the voice part, we have taken a OpenAI voice, which is causing approximately 800 milliseconds of delay. And finally, video is taking about 600 milliseconds of delay. So I could obviously change a couple of configurations, and this agent can be built in a way more cost efficient way, as well as latency can be taken down. So it will improve the overall call experience with anyone who's talking to this AI agent. So essentially, this was the component, how we drive them. And here you can change any one of them. As I said, multiple AI models are available. You can go with any provider. It can be Azure, it can be Anthropic, Google, like Gemini, or those kind of Grok. Anything can be used. Plenty of models are available. So based upon your choice, you can go at the provider and the model and choose the right one. Then further down, there are a couple of configuration. Who's going to talk first? Whether it's agent or the person, agent is going to wait for the other person to talk, right? Then what is going to be the first message? So it can be, hello, may I talk to Manish, right? So I can provide variables over here, and according to those variables, it can figure out the whole call configuration, or let's say the starting message and then whole conversation with this particular person. Now, along with this, I can give them a proper system prompt, which is nothing but similar to what we do with GPTs. So this is HR from growth stacks. Congratulations for taking all the round. We're really excited to continue growth and so on. So the first message is quite long until this point. Agent is supposed to speak 4 sentences, and then it's going to wait for the candidate response. Then once candidate responded, it's going to take this highest qualification question, and it will again ask something to this candidate, and so on. So this is how the whole conversation can go on. And it's a basic prompt. If you have to advance it, we will also add like a couple of instruction. Agent should wait, then agent should talk after the user finishes. If user is not responding, ask it politely, like, are you available, are you there, and so on. If some conversation goes out of the context, then agent should be able to like restrict those context and so on. So these kind of prompting can be done, and based upon the prompt structure, it can talk to this particular person to take their proper interview. Now, once this is done, along with this, we can have a couple of more things. We can add knowledge base files. We can have maximum token constraint as well. So how many tokens supposed to take while having this conversation, and this will even impact your call quality. So whenever agent talk next time, it may have context or may not have context, all depend upon this particular token part. If you enhance it, your latency may increase a little more. Then voice configuration, fairly straight, as I said, like OpenAI voice is there, Shimmer or whatever this. I can always hear them, how they sound, or I can go and choose VAPI voices or some inbuilt voices, right? So, like this is the basic configuration part. Then I could have like whether background sound supposed to be there or not, transcriber, which transcriber I'm going to use. I'm using DeepGram into English. It's all fine. Tools are there. In case during the call, if I have to use any tools, I can create tools over here and tools can be added to this AI agent. So tools can be called as and when it required to use them. Then custom function, predefined functions, these are there. I will simply go to last. There is something called system message. This is important. Why? Because whenever the call gets over, system supposed to send me transcript on a webhook URL. So here I can define my webhook URL and this webhook URL will be targeted as soon as call get completed. Whole transcript will be sent to me on the webhook for further processing. So here I go and say, once my call is done, I want to trigger a webhook, which I can create a third scenario over here. Here I'll say trigger scenario on a particular webhook part. So let's go here, go with this on a webhook call. And it's a production URL. It's going to be a post call, post like receiving a post call. Production URL, I can configure into VAPI like this, right? And what to send on this particular URL. So here it says server message supposed to be end of call report. End of call means it's going to say who was the user, what is their phone number, what we speak, whole transcript, as well as recording URL, and so other things. Even sentence by sentence transcription as well. So this is what being going to be sent to this particular AI agent. From this AI agent towards our N8N automation workflow. So here we said the third flow is going to grab the call transcript and will going to run through all these steps. And you can literally buy a US phone number for only 100 rupees per month. It is that cheap, that economical, right? So in case you want to make US calls, it's fairly straight. You can train agent or you can even have Twilio, let's say mobile app, and you can call from there as well. And the costing is hardly anything. I think per minute cost you about 1 cent, 2 cents, not more than that. So it's a good company for virtual numbers and cloud telephony. Now, since we connected things here, I got two phone numbers from Twilio over here, 507-8874 as well. So this is the number which we can use to send outbound calls. Now, what I can do is I can simply, once someone is selected from after this assessment part, I can send them a VAPI voice call using an using an API call. So what I say, once selection is done, go here, do the post call from VAPI. I actually pre-created this. I don't want to mess around on the live call as such. So here is my call URL, which is nothing but api.vapi.com or vapi.ai/call. It's a post method supposed to create a outbound call. And then after the authentication part, I have to define a couple of things over here. One is the assistant ID, because within VAPI, I can create multiple assistants. The phone number ID, like which phone number I'm going to use, which is associated inside VAPI from Twilio. Then Twilio SID is there. Twilio SID is nothing but kind of a client ID, client secret. So same way, as account SID is a client ID from Twilio side, and which phone number I'm going to use, right? Then the customer phone number. Customer can be like a customer. It can be a person. It can be anyone you want, right? So a HR candidate or recruitment candidate can also be there. So I'm going to map their phone number over here. And then along with this, I can provide a couple of variables as well. Now, when I say variables, what is the need and why we are sending them? So if you see, when I went into the assistant part, let's say this is the HR assistant over here. It says, hello, may I speak to? And there is a name variable. Now it's supposed to know the person's name. And how will know? We can pass some variables into our API call. So if I go here, it says assistant overrides, and there are a couple of variable values. And I can define any variable as per my requirement. So this can be name, this can be email. I can also add another variable which says job applied for, right? So job applied for. And in this case, I can map the variable name or whatever value, and then it's going to talk, or maybe it can take that into conversation, into account while it is talking to the other person. So this is how we can send a VAPI voice call using a simple API stuff. Now we have to figure out how to get this name and email. I think email we are already getting from our form submission. So I can simply map this value over here. But in terms of name, we have to figure out how to get this person's name on this entire sequence, right? But I hope this is clear. Until this point, we are making this VAPI AI agent call. Now let's do one thing. So once someone submit a form, either we can add two variables on our URL, on the first URL, that form URL I discussed with you earlier, this assessment form URL. So it can have this email equal to sandeep@gmail.com or so on. And I can apply name equal to maybe XYZ ABCD, whatever the person's name. So these two things can go together and both the data can come back. Or as a workaround, I can go into this assessment form part and I'll say, first of all, can you get me, like if someone is getting into selection route, before making this call, can you get me this person's all details from my Google Sheet? So I'll say Google Sheet over here, and I'll again say get a raw. So multiple methods, like anything can be used, but I'll say admin gross tax. Down here, I'll have to choose my sheet, ATS, job applications, and over here, based upon email, I want to figure out what is the person name is there. So I'll say map this name, email, and let's figure out this. So this is going to give me values in output. Okay, what it says, manage task, okay, pre-built template is fine. Okay, let me do one thing. Let me try to put a hard-coded value just for the to getting this values from here. So I'll pick this value here. I'll put it like this, and let's try to execute without doing any mapping stuff. Node executed successfully. Why it's not giving us the output? Just 1 second, guys. Okay, it is not getting any output until this point, only over here. Okay, let's do one more thing. So whenever you get stuck with things like this, you can simply disconnect from here as well, and I go back. And I'll say now I got both the hard-coded values. Execute the step, and it's supposed to get me all the data like this, right? So it is not dependent upon previous node. I can simply wire it again between these two nodes, and now I have all the values coming out over here. So individual modules can also be run with any static value you can provide like this. And now I can change back this to my actual email, which is coming in from here. But essentially, this gives me the raw number, it gives me the email ID, the person name, and so on. So over here, in case of name, since I have values coming in from this module at the past, I can pass his name as well. I'll say the name of this candidate is equal to this. Email of this candidate is equal to maybe this one or the previous one, whatever it can be. Job applied for is over here. So these variables I'm going to send to VAPI, so VAPI can consider or recognize them while it is processing the whole call request. Done. So this is how it looked like. Currently, I have configured one static number over here. Obviously, this number can also be picked up right from here itself. Let's try and map this number as well. And just one important thing, this number is supposed to have the country code. So for now, I haven't put any country code while trying to fill this sheet. I think none of you have done that, but you will have to fill the country codes over here so you can get a call. We'll do a overall try run on this entire thing. Let's do one more thing quickly. 1 second, guys. So when I'm adding a phone number over here, I can add a small column at the start. So this phone number will not become a kind of formula column. What I mean by this, see here, currently it's a normal value. If I put 1 plus 91 over here, and if I enter this, plus is gone, this became a formula column. See here, equal to game. So instead I put a small colon and then I'll start plus, right? So now this becomes a static or a kind of a string value, and it has plus 91 and the entire thing. But when I try to fetch this data and I'll utilize this data into my VAPI, this small colon will not make any difference. So until this point, we have sent them emails as well as we got this, and VAPI call also supposed to be gone. Let's try this, whether this API key is working and everything else is fine. Let me do one thing. I'll have to copy this whole thing. And from here, for now, I'll just hard code a couple of values just to ensure this model is working. Otherwise, we'll have to fill this entire form again and again. So I'm putting my actual number and I'll put this variable as Manish, and I'll just remove other two variables and this column as well. And let's try to run this as an standalone module so we get to see whether the calls are happening or not. Wow, authorization failed. This was expected actually. Okay, 1 second. I'll just have to get a new API key from VAPI. We'll have to go to API keys. It's supposed to be this test key. Okay, the call is currently queued and I'm supposed to get a call soon. I just want to check whether this call is going out or not. Fine. So the VAPI call will go immediately as soon as this selection will happen on the technical assessment side. Now, Abhishek will pick the call and we have one thing to do. what I'm expecting is once the call will get over, this module will trigger and it's going to get whole transcript over here. So I just want to have a sample transcript. Whatever Abhishek speaks to this call, we will get this transcript over here. Okay, there is output. So this is a quick short conversation. Hello, may I speak to Manish? And then not sure if you picked it, but essentially there is a call transcript and maybe there are multiple variables. This is a call initiated by AI attempting to call Manish. However, call was very brief, ended abruptly, terminated by the customer, and so and so. And further down, we have recording URL as well. So in case you want to hear any recordings, we can pick up that as well. So what I want to do is, once the call will get over, I'll copy this data to editor. And again, one more time, we'll engage AI and we'll say, can you please grab this call transcript and transcribe it for us and maybe get some sort of a summary out of this. So let's say I'll go to OpenAI, quickly message a model, and over here we'll go to text. This is all fine. The top line, choose a model. This can be mini again. And here I can say I'm going to give you a voice call transcript between the HR executive and the candidate. You have to evaluate how the conversation went, and you have to make a decision whether to select this person for a job or not. Selection criteria is at least 25%, and you should give output into three result variables. One is the score out of 100 based upon the conversation. Second is result, selected, rejected. Third is reason behind the result into a proper JSON structure. I'm not giving it any very good prompt for now. I'll say output JSON, and here I can say same way how we did earlier, nothing but score 10, 20, 30, whatever it is. Second is result. Over here we can say either selected slash rejected, and the third part reason for result, right? Small explanation. Done. So these are three things what I'm looking from this particular stuff. I can make it system prompt. Here I can say here is the call transcript, and I can map the transcript right from here. So you can search different attributes. So let's say transcript, and I think not the artifact, but here's the old transcript part. So just place it into this one. That's it. Output is JSON. Let's try to execute this. How it goes. Conversion was very brief, could not provide, rejected, total 10. That's it. So perfect. I think we are good with this particular thing. And then finally, I'll say again, based on the selection or rejection, I'm going to send this person emails and will also add his result into this particular Google Sheet. Now see here, when we sent a couple of variables to this agent or this particular AI, what it does, why it consumes those variables into the system and say, hello, may I speak to Manish? So Manish was a variable inside this whole string. But along with this, it also returned those variable as it is into the output as well. And what is the benefit? If you get those variable outputs, see here, name is coming as Manish over here. Now, if we have those variables available, we can easily consume them or utilize them for our let's say identification purpose. If I'm sending an email, I could use that email to reach out or figure out that candidate record from my entire database. Or if I'm using an application ID, I can consume that and try to figure out the application ID from my whole database. Who's that customer? Who's that particular, let's say, candidate? And then accordingly map those values towards the candidate itself. So that's what is the purpose of defining variables into this VAPI agentic call. Now let's go back and let's try here. So other variable was only email. That's good. I can go. Okay, one more thing with this entire structure. We have this JSON which is coming from VAPI, but I can obviously modify this. I can add a couple of things here and there. So currently I'm not getting this the email as a variable because I did not pass it. It was a random test which we sent a call to Abhishek. But if I click on edit output, I go down and I'll say, along with this, I want to define one more variable which I can simply edit over here itself. So I'll say, let's go with this. And here, this is supposed to be an email, manish@gmail.com, whatever, just a dummy value for now. And I'll click save. So now this value will also come as a mappable variable along with my name. See here, email. And anyways, it's supposed to come like this. So I don't have to rerun this entire VAPI call and do things. I can simply modify it. And I know since I'm sending this variable, the same variable is supposed to come back. Now, in this case, I'll have to first search out who is this person, and then accordingly, I'll have to update their record. So Since I'm getting email, I'm not bothered about searching this person. I'll simply say which record to update. I want to match record first using the email. And email is a variable that is coming in into my call transcript or into this entire string. So I'll go down and here I say, let's map email over here. This is first part. Currently it is not rendered, so it's all fine. It can behave like this into a red stuff. Or maybe let's see if it is undefined. That's fine. Uh, Technical assessment we don't need. None of these technical things has to be updated. What I can do, go back to my ATS and here I can add one more segment like this. So let's copy all of these columns. Here I go and I'll say AI interview status, then AI interview. So let me pick it from here itself. AI interview score, then further down AI interview result, and one last second last thing is AI interview call transcript. So in case if the HR is supposed to look into this, they can easily have a quick look around it. And finally, along with this, I also want to put AI call recording link. So if someone want to even hear that, they can also hear the whole conversation. Now let's go back. Let me define some colors over here. Can be something like this. So we got 3 different colors and 3 different segments for each of these status. Interview result can be selection rejection. It can be planned, not planned, completed, and so on. And we are good. Now let's add columns to update. So here we are looking for all the AI interview columns. AI interview status, I can map it right from here. Once the call is completed, I'll say it's completed. Interview result is going to be here. The score is going to be here. Call transcript, I can search from here. I'll say transcript one more time. And here I'm getting the whole transcript like this. And as well as recording link, I can search from here. And here we have recording URL story. I think, yeah, here it is. Recording URL goes here. Done. So all of these fields will be updated right here itself. And finally, I'll say whether the person got selected, rejected for the human round or not. I'll keep that email content now as it is, whatever we had earlier. So we should not be like creating this whole content again. But essentially, you got the idea. Let me pick the email part. I'm not sure why it is showing in red, but let's see. The 2 emails supposed to be here. Okay, it's taking up here. And currently it says assessment email, but I can just change it. You are not technical assessment update, AI interview update. Good try. See you next time. And for the selection part, I could say it's supposed to be congratulations, you are selected. Get ready for an in-office interview with the department head. Something like this, right? And that's it. Let me even put it here and check why it's okay. That's fine. Click save and that's it. So I hope you got it. Like now this entire workflow is ready from the first job level thing. Second is assessment form. And the third is when the call is happening towards this person. I would request any one of you, if you can please try to create a resume around project manager role. You can answer things over here and try to get qualify this whole AI round over here. I can simply remove all of your data from here for now. It's a clean slate. And when you enter the phone number, ensure you enter the country code as well. Someone who's outside India, you can enter your specific country code. That's all fine. So I'm going to share you the first form link, and this will carry on the entire process end to end. So here is the form link. Ensure you add +91 or plus and the country code while you're trying to submit. Guys, just 1 second. Sorry, I has to change one of the connection. Is Gmail. This is fine. I'm not sure whose email is this, but we are using it, so that should be okay. And I think some of you would face error. Okay, debug into this unpinned data. Let's go here, Vijay's account. Let's send this. I think it was Praveen Kumar. So now your application will move forward, Praveen. One got rejected, one got selected. Technical assessment is pending. So as soon as you submit your assessment, it's going to work with it. So who? Prabhat Verma, you're selected. Deepak, you're rejected. 45, 55. Okay. Now, once you submit this, they are also going to be updated. Let's have a quick look at. And you would have received emails about your technical assessment. Jason, email is mapped. This is fine. This is also fine.
But I didn't get an email.
Let us see.
I got the rejection email.
No, I didn't get any email. Let me check if I send them.
Actually, I debugged it, and when I say execute a step,
I'm just confirming my email.
can you check now?
Email is fine.
Can you check now?
Okay. I think some mail. Yes. Yes.
Is
So
it the
with only 0709 project manager. Yep. Got the email.
But does that have a link or not?
No, this email was sent automatically with N8N and I have an N8N link only. So no any link for next step.
Okay.
If you want, I can share my screen.
You can please submit this again from scratch because this email got like logged in middle. So can you please submit this one more time?
Yep. Yes.
I'll remove your things from here. Prabhat Kumar Verma. Okay. I think you got a second application. I'll remove that as well. Perfect. Okay. Ronnie, you got selected. Your things are pending. I think Ronnie, would have received email about this assessment as well. Can you confirm? There will be two emails received after this first step. One is for your congratulations. Second is for
Okay, let me confirm.
Yes, it's a submitted now.
done selection. It's pending assessment. And you would receive two emails, one for your congratulations, that part, and second is for the assessment link.
Yeah, I received.
Nice. So you guys can now fill. Yes, Sandeep.
Manish, I was wondering if I've set up my credential here, Gmail, so anyone can access all my email, right? So I need to select scopes. I need to be very specific that use only send scope for this account. That would be the solution, right?
People can even send some threatening email to someone else in your name.
It's very dangerous. I have to create a dummy Gmail account or something.
Exactly.
So,
Yeah, that's advisable. Okay. Can you guys please fill this assessment part quickly? Whoever received this email, please. Yes, Abhishek.
Let's say I'm filling the form, but I have submitted someone else's resume. Will I get passed?
Yes. It doesn't know, right? System doesn't know who you are or on whose behalf you're submitting it.
Okay,
So,
but
okay. Yeah.
what are the things we can put in between so we don't face something like this?
Okay.
Just
System-
a small, yeah.
System doesn't know who is sitting behind this form. Maybe it happens anywhere, right? So it's all you may ask someone's ID proof, or let's say who's this person. You should have their ID proofs as well, right? Maybe PAN card, Aadhaar card, those kind of identification things. So in those cases, it can be prevented because you're not supposed to have someone else's ID. So that is one thing. Second, apart from this, you could have maybe in-person verification later on. So once you go to that office and present yourself, they'll know, okay, who's this guy? Okay, Prabhat, you'll get a call now.
Yes, I got a call and just I got one line. Hey, I'm Manish. Is this Prabhat Kumar Verma? And nothing. Still the call is here and nothing is coming after that. I said, yes, I am Prabhat.
Arey, yaar, ek minute, 1 second. Is it? Did I? No, all of these are dynamic values. Maybe this AI agent would need more training then. It was just a system-generated prompt. Hi, this is HR from Gross Tax. Hi, Prabhat. This is HR from Gross Tax. Okay, it's supposed to say like this.
No,
Mm-hmm.
no.
Then not very sure. Did who else got selected over there? Let's see. Or maybe let's try to run this particular step. You'll get another call. Let's try this.
Okay. Yes.
Just pick up that.
Yes, Prabhat here.
From grow stack and get through around excited and getting to start. I've loved it about.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Prabhat. To begin, could you please share a little about experience? Where did you go? What were some of the key moments that shaped those years?
So it's a really good company to work with you guys, and I have a good experience to fill up all this form and all.
Your time at work. Could you tell me more about your school experience? For example, which you attend? Are there any particular moments or experiences from those years that influenced or shaped?
Nothing much, just like the same. And the good experiences that I'm really good on, specifically the project management things, and which I have set up.
Thank you for sharing that, Prabhat. Great to hear that you have good experience, especially in project.
Yep.
Could you tell me about your highest qualification? Why you chose that particular field of study?
Oh, so my higher education is the like a master in computer application, and it's one of the best on my time to do the post graduation, specifically in the computer science.
Great to hear that.
Anthony, did you get a call, by the way?
And
Yep.
no, I just got the link.
I'd like to
If you let-
what made
Growstack is really good company and working a lot in AI automation.
Okay, I think you also got. Oh, your assessment is pending. If you can fill this assessment part, you will also get a call.
Can you share?
So specifically for me, is exciting part is AI automation.
Then Prabhat, we'll have to select you otherwise. Okay.
So, okay, I had one question. So it's not like listed. They were taking the direct question combination from LLM,
Mhm.
or we have listed somewhere their specific question.
Let me see. Again, it was a random thing which, yeah, see here, all the questions are listed. School background, highest qualification, why gross tax, and yeah, so all of these questions are there. Team
Oh,
collaboration, time
that's why
management.
I'm confused. Like this much. Okay.
One more thing. So how it was keep on telling you that, okay, that good to know. Let's talk about this. Good to know again and again. So those kind of abbreviation, those kind of confirmations can also be avoided. Like I can say, just talk once that, okay, good to hear. Let's move on and do something. So the whole conversation can be curated in a very well manner, right? But for now, essentially, let's take a look what happened. See here. So this was your record. I just zoomed out. Let me try and here is Prabhat Kumar Verma, your entire thing. This is for the application round and sorry, for the matching round, 75 selected, has 20 years of experience into project management and so on. Then over here, oh, sorry. Wait, 1 second. I'll zoom out. So this is your record.
Yep.
Number 4. It says candidate has over a decade experience, agile coaching and so on, right? Then technical assessment completed, 85 selected, and over here candidate provided clear relevant answer for all of these top project management. Then AI interview status. So over here it says completed, AI interview score is 20%, result is rejected. Why so? Because here is the whole conversation. Oh, why we did not ask it? Sorry, my bad. I simply mapped the value is it interview call transcript. So hello, may I speak to Prabhat? You said yes, Prabhat here, and so on. So AI is talking, you're talking, and the whole conversation goes like this. Finally, we have this call recording URL as well. So if I try to listen to this, what happens?
Hello, may I speak to Prabhat Kumar Verma?
Yes, Prabhat here.
Hi, Prabhat. This is your name. Thank you, Prabhat, for
So like we could have also put in one thing, reason for the result, which was there, was supposed to be there, but I think we missed it. Okay, here it is. That column was not mapped, or I had to provide this particular column. See here, this AI would have provided reason for result. It says Y20 candidate showed limited collaboration on experiences. Obviously, you disrupted the call or like disconnected the call.
Yep.
That was the reason, but essentially it has all of these. While the relevant educational background, interest in AI automation, their response brief, lake depth, and all. So this is
That's really great.
what can be done, and I could just map this value over here. Like since you guys will be trying it, let me try to map this value over here. I'll say AI interview result reason, and over here I could go back, copy data to editor, unpin into this particular thing. I'll have to refresh so it can get that one more column, AI interview result reason, and simply map it to this. So now it has score, reason, transcript, and the recording, and I can save it. So when next time anyone is going to call, it will just run through with this result part as well.